Hey, Blue Table fans, woo! Okay, enough of my beautiful face. Let's look at these beautiful figures. Oh, yeah! Oh, baby! Okay, so here's the deal. Originally, GW put out a kit, the Bane Blade kit, and then they put out another one, another kit. I can't remember the name offhand, but the second kit had, the first kit had 2 options, the second kit had 4 options. So we had a thing where we would make what's called a hex blade that made all 6 options. And boy, you got to magnetize the heck out of it. And this is not that. This only has 2. And but it does magnetize these little turret things. You can see by these heavy flamers. And then, of course, the turret, which I will not be able to change with one hand, but it is changeable. It does pull out. Got to be gentle with it. There's a big old magnet in there that kind of holds it in place. So, okay, so here's the deal. So, the Bane Blade kit actually was originally made by Forge World. When they came out with Epic, and I think that was in the late 90s, they had this big tank in there, or technically a medium-sized tank, because the Imperium has like huge cathedral-sized, you know, treaded buildings. So basically, so immediately people started scratch building them, making homebrew rules. Forge World obviously came out with a resin one, and so and then later, I think it was like 2008, you ended up with your first plastic Bane Blade kit, which was a real treat, but it was still kind of like ask your opponent permission. They were like 500 or 600 points, so very unwieldy. But now that Apocalypse has become like an everyday thing, people are busting out 3,000. Like an army is like 3,000. That's like typical. That's not unusual for an army to be that size. So. This is a level 4 Shadow Sword Stormlord. What? So this might actually be the second one that they made. So anyway, okay, let's continue. So I did a little reading up, and apparently now there's 10 variants that include a couple that Forge World has made. So I'm going to read them off like really quick. Bane Hammer, Bane Sword, Doom Hammer, Fell Blade, Hellhammer, Plague Reaper, Shadow Sword, Storm Blade, Storm Hammer, Stormlord, and Storm Sword. So 4 of them have Storm in the title. And then there's a hammer, there's Bane Hammer, Doom Hammer, Hellhammer, and Storm Hammer. So 4 of them have hammer in the title. So you guys can already see how this works. So this bad girl right here, this thing, oh yeah. This is a Vulcan Mega Bolter, and can fire twice if the tank sits still. So I do believe that's 20 shots per round, and it is not fun. And yeah, and apparently it's also a transport. So correct me if I'm wrong on that one. I want to show you some physical features here. So this is magnetized. That's kind of a must. If I can kind of see the 1/8 inch magnet in there. Now we go to amazingmagnets.com. We order magnets by like the thousands. We use so many, it's crazy. So magnetization is a huge forte of blue table painting. And these stubbers are magnetized on. They're just kind of floating there. And in fact, this front piece here has little tiny magnets on it that keep that in place. So great, magnets are great for storage, but also for weapon options as well. All right, so so this client had like stuff, like random things, including this Wraith Knight. At great fig, definitely a centerpiece. Just wanted to show this off. Little dead guy there, some pipes, a grill. Very, very nice stuff. And now, Eldar, when you're painting Eldar, you usually don't use metallics on them because Eldar use psycho-reactive plastics to build their machinery. So you usually don't see metal. But this client did have metal in, you know, his examples, and who's to say they can't have that as well. Whenever you're doing this, you definitely want a scatter laser. There's really no other weapon that you're going to want up top here, because that'll make this other weapon more accurate. Or if you choose the 2 Wraith lances, I can't remember what they're called offhand, but these things, and they can have 2 of these. It's strength 10, like a D weapon or whatever. And so then you just fire these are the 2 weapons. So you have like these 2, or you've got this one and then this up top. That's really your option. Most people don't take the sword option. But there it is, and of course we have a bunch of magnetized pieces down here. Quite frankly, like a lot of times we have a checkbox saying, you know, just magnetize everything that's in the kit. And now when we say magnetize all options, that's usually just another shorthand of saying magnetize everything that's in the kit. Because all options can also mean, of course, whatever appears in the book. But as you guys know, GW doesn't always put those in the kits. So anyway, yeah. So that said, shuriken cannons. Not sure how great those are. And of course, we have some scions here. Scions. I don't know how to say it, but they're really great kits. Quite frankly, I would just do these as my veterans. So hats off to GW for just continuing just to crank out this amazing stuff. Even for fantasy. Fantasy is like kind of like not played as much as it used to be, especially since they geared it towards these giant armies. Like you gotta have 200 figures in an army to play fantasy, and that is just, guys, that is just tough. But the pageantry is just absolutely through the roof. Well, thanks for listening to me ramble, and hopefully you have picked up something new and interesting and seen something to inspire you for your own painting, or hopefully inspire you to use Blue Table Painting as your painting service. We are definitely the grizzled, scarred veterans of the industry. We've been around over 11 years now, and that is forever doing this because it's a boiling cauldron of come and go. And we usually finish, yes, I'm actually still talking. We usually finish between 40 and 60 projects a month. That's a very conservative estimate, actually. And if you look at that per quarter, that might be something like 100 to 150. Yeah, I know the math didn't jive just then, but you get the idea. 100 to 150 per quarter, sometimes even more than that. So the average could actually be quite higher. And we've got a team of painters, and the great thing is that if one artist, has some kind of major personal crisis come up, that's not the end of things. We can just move on to a different track, and we have a lot of flexibility and a lot of strength working as a group. And I'd say that's generally true of almost any endeavor in a society, is that you can get some strength from numbers. So. I'm very excited about Blue Table Painting. I've got a bat rep with Rich tomorrow. I think I'm going to see if the client wants me to feature this awesome Bane Blade in it. Oh man, that would be so cool. So folks, thanks for tuning in, and I hope that you got your inspiration for the day.